So my girlfriend's been talking nonstop about Throne of Glass and the sword Goldryn from the book series. I'm no idiot and I understand the hints she's dropping, so today we're building Goldryn. Thankfully, someone had already designed the sword, so I purchased the 3D files, threw them into my printer, and printed away. And once my print bed was complete, we now have the pieces to build the sword. We just have to assemble them. And to make sure the sword actually holds up well to being 3D printed and assembled, I'm going to add a steel rod to act as a support beam through the core of the sword. Each piece will then slide onto the rod to make sure everything fits and is lined up properly. Alright, now that I got the blade assembled and made sure that each piece is in the correct order, it's time to glue it up. For that, I'm just using some basic super glue with an activator, so that way the glue will quickly adhere to the plastic. Now that the blade is all assembled, it's just a matter of attaching the handle and making sure everything lines up. So that's it, we're done. Okay, no. And in fact, you deserve a better video than that. So let's actually tidy this sword up. First off, we can still see a few layer lines in the seams, so we need to fix all those up. And this is going to require a mixture of sanding and bondoing. This will be a process that takes a few steps. We'll go in, add some bondo, sand it, add some more bondo, sand it, back and forth until everything is completely smooth. So due to the sum of the position of the layer lines, I'm actually just going to end up bondoing the whole blade, and we'll sand over that. And we might throw a primer on halfway through just to see if I've missed any spots, as the primer will help showcase any gaps. Alright, now before we resand this and do another coat of paint, I want to actually fill in these inlays. You see, the file came with a couple of 3D printable inlays that you insert. The mistake I made was I've already started bondoing in there, which means I might have to clean up some of the space a little bit. And we're going to do this with some flush cutters. It should now fit. Now I'm doing this step in this order rather than applying these before we started bondoing everything for two reasons. A, I wanted to make sure the layer underneath the inlays was completely flush and smooth. We had no layer lines. But also, I forgot about those pieces. Alright, so now the sword has been pretty much finished with the bondoing phase, and now we're just going to do a final wet sand to get it as smooth as possible before we start bringing in the metallic looks with some graphite powder and rub and buff. So the method I'm using for the blade is not going to be just silver spray paint. I wanted to try out graphite powder. It's supposed to be very good at getting a realistic metallic shine on an object. And, well, I followed some online instructions of what I've read, and a lot of people talk about using a glossy black paint. And upon my testing, I found that while it looks great when hit with direct light, that when shown in maybe more subdued or soft light, that the black paint shows up too much for my liking. And you can really see with the black that when the light hits it, it does look nice, like a blade. But when it goes into the shadow, it just kind of looks too dark for my liking. So I tried with gray. And I think this is much more realistic looking. Now the main thing to know about graphite powder, and what I'm using here, is that this stuff is not great for your lungs. So you want to make sure you wear a respirator when applying. And the plan is to rub this into the blade and polish it into it. Upon doing that, I'll then should have at least a blade that can finally be polished and cleaned up and should be relatively reflective. Alright, so I'm going to do another clear coat and another coat of graphite powder to see how it turns out. But already starting out, it looks very shiny and metallic. I do now wonder if on a larger piece that I finished, if I would have liked the black more. But at this point, I'm already moving forward with the gray spray paint.
So at this point, it was just taking off the painter's tape I used to mask the handle so I could start applying some rub and buff. And what rub and buff is basically a oil-based wax that you just apply by rubbing it in. And as the name says, you basically buff it out until it gets nice and metallic. And overall, it was super easy to apply, and I think the results look great.
Alright, so it's been a few days, and I had to wait to paint because it's been absolutely freezing here, and, well, we all know that low temperatures and spray paint from rattle cans don't play along well. But over those days, it did give me some time to test clear resin printing, which I've never done before. And I played around with a few different options to figure out what's the best process of not just printing, but painting these clear resin prints. And the results I was the most happy with ended up being these two pieces. What we have here are two halves of these resin gems that were printed, then cured for just about a minute, which is a little lighter than I normally go with the UV cure process, as I did not want the clear resin to turn yellow. Afterwards, I ended up painting these with an airbrush and some speed paints. I needed something that was semi-transparent to keep the clear glass-like look. I did try painting these with brushes, but the brush strokes were too easy to show up, so I found that the airbrush was the way to go. After that, I gave it a glossy clear coat, which helped with the shine and also bring back the clear transparent look, as these did get a little foggy after being cured. And with that, the blade is finally finished, which I think it means it's finally time for some detail shots.